I've been doing no buy or low buy challenges every year for the past 6 years. It started out one January. I was freaking out a little bit about how much we had spent in December just on holidays, gift giving, traveling home, all of that. I was panicking a little, and then my partner Tucker and I decided to do a frugal February, is what we were calling it, Frugs Feb, where we essentially just watched our spending for the month. From there grew an annual Frugs Feb tradition, doing a low buy or no buy. Are you itchy? And from there we extended and started doing January as well. This year we're doing Frugs Jan and Frugs Feb, a low buy 2 months. We really like it because it helps us A, get our savings back up after a lot of holiday spending, and B, it helps us kind of not have the indulgences of December extend out throughout the rest of the year. It kind of gives it a hard stop in January, February, which is good for us. I'll tell you a little bit more at the end about our current iteration of the challenge, what we're doing now for Frugs Jan, Frugs Feb, but I wanted to start by giving my tips for before, during, and after a low buy, no buy challenge, what I've learned over the years. Okay, tips for before you start your no buy, low buy challenge. First of all, I think it's really important to understand your monthly spend before you start the challenge. So if you're not already budgeting or tracking your spending, I would strongly recommend doing that for a few months before you start the challenge. If you're the type of person that needs to jump right in, then you can do historical tracking just to get an idea. I use the app Rocket Money to do my tracking and budgeting. Before I use that, I use other apps or an Excel spreadsheet. I think it's just important to have a base idea of where you stand before you start making changes. Then I think it's a good idea to do an overall analysis of like what makes you happy, how you spend your time, what makes you happy, how your buying makes you feel, and for how long it makes you feel that way. I'm a bit of a nerd, so I do this in like an actual spreadsheet and assign scores for happiness levels, time spent, money spent, percent of budget, that kind of thing, and add it up to see. But if that's not your speed, you can do this through journaling, through talking it out with a friend. Just figuring out what things are going to be your essentials during a challenge, because they're the things that truly bring you joy, and what things are going to be non-essentials or are hindering your life. I'd also strongly recommend pairing a no buy or low buy challenge with a decluttering or organization challenge or journey or whatever, either before you start the no buy or during the no buy. A couple different reasons for that. One, I think doing any sort of decluttering or reorganization helps build a healthy amount of kind of like disgust and shame that can help you understand your spending habits. Recently, I got served an Instagram ad for a certain type of lotion, and I was like thinking about buying it, and then I did a bathroom declutter and realized that I had like 5 jars of lotion, bottles of lotion. It's just like, that's too much lotion. I can't possibly spend money on another thing of lotion. So I think it's helpful for that. I also think it's helpful for like shopping your home. So if you are having trouble not buying clothes, do a declutter of your closet and you'll realize like, oh, there's all these clothes that I have forgotten about. I could try to style these in a different way, or I could just understand that this is a shit ton of clothes. Similarly for like your pantry or your cosmetics. You're spending a lot of money on food or takeout. If you do a pantry declutter, you're hopefully gonna realize like, oh, okay, I've got all kinds of things in here that I haven't been eating and haven't been using. And I can shop from that and make something new. And then my last tip would be to recruit a friend to do the challenge with you. It's just gonna be easier if you have support and if you have someone to talk to about it. Also, during a no buy, low buy challenge, your social life is most likely going to take a hit. You can't convince all of your friends to go on a walk instead of going to brunch, but you can probably convince one friend to do this challenge, and then you can go on a walk with that friend. So that's always helpful. During the challenge, I think it's helpful to catalog your shopping desires. So I keep a running list of everything that I want to purchase but can't during the challenge. And then at the end of the challenge, I can always go back to it and see if any of those are still things that I want or need. I also recommend tracking your spend and savings throughout the challenge. Again, tracking just gives you the best data to work from. Now on to after the challenge. I recommend you do two things. One, celebrate. Depending on your why for doing the challenge, I would pick a celebration that aligns with that. So if you were doing the challenge in order to save up and buy something big, obviously buy that to celebrate. If you're doing the challenge because of credit card debt or shopping habit, maybe make yourself a cake and have your friends come over. And then second, internalize. I recommend journaling or jotting down or however you track your thoughts, what you learn throughout the challenge so that you can remember it to change your shopping habits in the future. For our current iteration of the challenge, this year Tucker and our BFFB and I are doing a low buy essentially for January and February, Fruit Jan and Feb. Our ultimate goal is to, well, Tucker's and my ultimate goal is to save around $6,000 over the course of the 2 months. Doing that for a couple reasons. One, I want to put about $2K back against our December spend. Want to put $2K forward towards, we're going to Round Top Antique Fair at the end of March for Tucker's birthday, so want to save some money for that, and then just an additional $2K just in our emergency fund. Our specific rules, so we've dropped most of our non-essential spending, and we've also cut some of our essential spending budget, so groceries, etc. We've chopped that down, so we're shopping our pantry more, etc. The main things that we do are working out and hanging out at coffee shops. So we are still doing those. We kept all of our gym memberships for the months. We are allowed to go to coffee shops and buy just coffee is our rule. That way it's still a joyful 2 months, but just with reduced spend. If you're planning on doing a no buy or low buy challenge in 2025, I'd love to hear about your rules and goals for it down in the comments. See y'all soon.